Hey everybody, Ethan here, and you're on my side of the room. It's time once again to talk about Wuthering Waves. It's been about 2 weeks since launch, which is when I started the game. I was not in any way involved in the betas. I'm not in any way involved or associated with Kuro Games or anyone else in the gaming sphere. I'm just a regular guy who decided to start playing this game and see how it is. So I thought I'd give a status update on how it's going. Um, TLDR, I'm sticking with it, so that's good. It was kind of touch and go there at moments because my biggest concern going into it was having that real time combat in the style of like Street Fighter. That's my reference point. And so I was never good at games like that. And so my preference is Star Rail, which is much more turn based. You could pick up the phone and set it down and go on autoplay if you want and come back and find out how you did. Whereas with Wuthering Waves, you can't really do that. It's a very active game, whereas I would argue that Star Rail is a very passive game. I love Star Rail, don't get me wrong, but Wuthering Waves has just been an entirely different experience for me. Now, to make it clear, I've never played Genshin Impact before. Up till about 4 days ago, I'd never even seen Genshin Impact before, which was really weird. A lot of people were making comparisons between Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact, but they weren't showing any Genshin Impact footage to illustrate their point. So I finally had to look up some footage of actual gameplay, like, oh, all right, okay, yeah, I can see how Wuthering Waves does kind of look like that in their own way, you know. What I can tell from both of them now is that I'm not the least bit interested in Genshin. Sorry. And I'm not smacking down anybody who likes Genshin. I'm just saying, me personally, it's just not for me. More for you, so win-win. Where I'm at with the game right now is I'm at Union level 31. I'm at Databank 12. My highest character leveling is 50, and then their weapon is 50. My highest rated weapon is 4 stars. I haven't tried pulling on the weapon banner. I do have Gion. Thanks to all these free pulls that Kuro keeps sending out. So to that end, I am free to play. I spent on one thing, and that's that podcast thing where you can get materials, because I'm new. I figure any help I can get in that way without being a whale, I think, is a good thing. So I'm not averse to spending money. It's just in the bigger picture right now, it's kind of touch and go, where it's like I don't know, or especially in the beginning going, I really didn't know if I was going to stick with it. I didn't know if it was the kind of game I'd really get into. I am really into it, so I'm happy to report that. So, but right now, at the status that I'm at in the game and like the way that I play the game, there's no real incentive to spend money on it otherwise. So I don't need to be a whale and try to get Gion at all costs and get them to, like, whatever their term for Eidolon 6 is. I don't need to do that. I mean, it'd be nice, I guess, but I don't consider it flamingly urgent. It's nice that I have him on the featured banner now. I just figure it just gives me a head start for the future. And then, as of this filming, Yinlin is coming out on Friday, I guess. Again, no rush. I've got 11 pulls saved again, thanks to Kuro. And their constant need to send out freebies. Not complaining. Definitely not mad at that. I also don't live in Japan, so, there's that. So it's one of those, like, I'll wait and see and find out from all the other YouTubers how broken and insane she is, and then I'll weigh my decision about whether or not if I want to take a stab at getting her. There's no character that I'm specifically looking for right now. I feel good about my roster. But the thing is, Wuthering Waves is very different to Star Rail in that, not just the stuff I said about the mechanics of the game, but in Star Rail, you've got your core 4. and then you kind of build off of that. But to get going, you really need your core 4, and that's who's going to carry you through the game, for better or for worse. Currently, I've got my core 3, which are Rover, her, I can't say her name, is it Janzin? I don't know. Anyway, her. And Verena. They're doing fine. I tend to just crawl the map a lot. I'm not really in it for the... Like, I did the story mode because, you know, all that XP was built into it. I didn't particularly like story mode, so there's that. But that's not really what I'm in the game for. I don't care about the story mode so much as I care about the XP that came with it. And I like the open map concept. I love crawling all over things, whether I need to or not. I love doing the glider thing all over the place, whether I need to or not. So there's just a lot of that going on. So to kind of explain where I'm coming from, this is me coming at a fairly active game very casually. Literally feeling it out. It's like bringing home a new cat. And the way it has to like go around the whole place and sniff out every corner and figure out the boundaries and what's going on. That's kind of how I am with this game. Like literally I found the boundary of the game where I couldn't get past it. Like, oh, okay, well, this is nice to know. So the map's not that open. But it's big enough for me. Relative to Star Rail, I'm finding hours of amusement just going around the map. Last night, again, as of this filming, I was trying to go literally from one resonance beacon point to a challenge point for that forging challenge. I couldn't even get there because it was every single TD that they make between that point and that point. And finally, like an hour later, it's like, and there's still more, like on the way to the entrance to the forging challenge. Like, I've already absorbed a bunch of echoes. I've already like got arthritic thumb at this point from playing on mobile. And that's the thing, I play on mobile. My laptop can't handle the game. So PC is just not an option for me. And apparently that sucks to be me because apparently the game's much easier to play on PC. Oh well. So I'm mobile, dude. It's not unplayable on mobile. My understanding is it would just be that much easier if I was using the PC. At any rate, it was still fun, though. I still liked beating up the mobs. My only issue is like I've switched back to Havoc Rover because I drank the Kool-Aid, and everyone's all like, oh my god, why would you not use Havoc Rover? Well... because my Havoc Rover isn't that good. I mean, I did the things, like they said, make sure your echoes were all the same kind of echo type. Like, oh, well, I didn't even know that. I'd just been filling slots, trying to, like, just get the cost up to 12 any way I can. They're like, no, with Havoc Rover, you got to use this exact type. Like, okay, great. So I did, and it accomplished nothing. I might as well have had no echoes the way it was acting. I think the echo that was my primary thing that it launches was not the greatest choice. It was Tambourinist. It doesn't seem to do anything. So now I've switched it to Havoc Dreadmane or whatever, like some wolf. So at least you can see it do something for the second that it flashes on the screen. When I'm not the Havoc Rover, I've got some other rock dude that just comes up and goes wham. And again, at least you know it did something. My grief with the game, and again, probably would not be an issue on PC, is you've got a limited area to thumb around on the screen, and I keep launching the freaking echo right when I'm like on top of Mount You Die if you jump off of this. And all of a sudden it's like, and you launched your guy with the shield, fist or whatever. Like, no! So it gets tricky, like how you're supposed to do this, like get around town and not launch your stupid echo at the worst possible moment. With her, I've got the Impermanence Heron. Same deal where it's like it'll launch, but at least like it tends to just kind of go up and circle around and drop back down again. I don't quite get what to do with the Impermanence Heron. What I want it to do is just go up and wham and hit the guys. And instead, it's like, no, today's the day it's going to circle around and breathe purple flame all over the place and then drop you off in the swamp. Like, I don't know what triggers one thing versus the other. So that's been kind of the thing with the game for me, is the learning curve. Star Rail doesn't quite have that. It's pretty well, the combat mechanics are always the same. It's just a matter of what your characters do for their ultimate or their skill, and then what their synergies are. With Wuthering, there is such a thing as team synergies. There is such a thing as enemy weakness versus you have like ice strength or whatever. But as I was told going into this game, based on people who did the betas, they said, honestly, if you heart the rover, you can just be the rover like always until you're not. Like, you don't have to have a specific team to get through the content officially. And if you really love Ling Yang or whatever, you could just stick with that character and never change from that. It may not be the best decision you ever made, but it's a thing. All right, speaking of things that aren't necessarily a thing, with Star Rail, they have an app called Hoyoverse, I believe, or My Mihoyo or some such thing like this. Whatever it is, I use it. It's very nice. It's got a baked-in forum. It's got a bunch of character guides. It's how I find out about giveaway codes and stuff for Stellar Jades and whatever. And then it's a great source for memes, so it's all right there in one convenient package, and it's all official through MiHoYo. Kuro Games doesn't seem to have that. Maybe they do, and I just haven't looked hard enough to find it. For all the blab people say about the game, I really would have thought somebody would have said something about it. So the thing that's filling that role right now is Reddit. Previously, I have not been a Redditor, and I've just kind of like, at best, if I'm doing a Google search and I see that Reddit said something about it, I'll read the 3 paragraphs they'll let me before they're like, you really need to sign up for Reddit if you read this stuff. Like, no, I just want a quick answer. So I finally signed up for Reddit officially. It's Reddit. I don't know what I can say about Reddit, pro or con, that hasn't already been said before. I can't say I love it, but it is what it is. It's serving a purpose, and that purpose is commiseration and memes. One thing that I liked about Star Rail when I was getting into it was the memes. It was a way that I relate. I really like memes. I like them. So, I mean, face it, they got me through the pandemic. I think they got us all through the pandemic. And just riding that wave of memes landed me in Star Rail, and then there was all these Star Rail memes, and then as I got into the game, it's like, I get the joke, these are great. Well, Wuthering Waves is very new, so you're kind of asking a lot if you want bunches of memes at the moment, or if you want a bunch of swag at the moment, not sponsored. But that is another thing that I kind of do, is if I like things, he says, looking at his Star Wars collection off camera, I throw money at it. Not gobs of it, but enough to show my support or my love for whatever the thing is. And so I was really surprised to go on Redbubble. Not sponsored, I'm just telling you what I did. And they've got postcards, which I love. As seen already, I've already framed one of these stickers because they didn't have a postcard, which making me sad. But there's so much poaching of this stuff going on that somebody's going to make a postcard of this, and I'll be there to strike. I got Donjin, I got Baija, and I got Yang Yang. Speaking of, like, when I was first getting into the game, those 2 weeks ago, Yang Yang was a good help, being that middle character to kind of get you through the content. But she is just kind of gone by the boards at the moment because of my core 3. Again, I don't know why I can't say this name, but her, she's got me through so many trash mobs and so much content just on her own that Yang Yang's kind of a tough sell at this point. So I'm not even leveling up Yang Yang at the moment. I don't hate the character. I just think that as things are standing right now, she's just not immediately relevant. My extra character I've been kind of subbing in here and there is Shixia, or whatever, with the guns. It's a different play style, though, and I like the dodging and the jumping and landing on people's head. And Shizia just doesn't really do that. She does do that cool slide with the gun thing, though. That's neat. And the other thing she's good for is there's a certain challenge on the map that'll launch kind of like skeet targets, and you need her to shoot it. And if you didn't use her, you'd use Mortefi, which I didn't have at the time. I did have Chisia like right away. So even at level 1, she can shoot targets at range. So there's that. So I'm starting to kind of put some resources into her as a fourth option. I also, as I said, I have Gion. He's at level 40, and that's not good enough currently for the content. Like he's close to being one-shotted, which is weird, because I would have thought that, like, for being featured 5-star, even at level 40, he'd be somebody. Compared to, again, her. But they're two different kinds of characters, so she has certain options that he doesn't. And so his ultimate's great, that's for sure. But he really needs more leveling up and more seasoning, I guess, better echoes and whatever, and then he might be a little more relevant. And then as we go, he might be making his way into my core 3, and I'll just kind of go from there. But at any rate, I'm enjoying the game. I'm looking forward to playing more and sharing more videos about it. If you're into that sort of thing and you've watched this long, then please like and subscribe, and I will definitely catch you in the next video.